Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up. A couple of things to cover as always, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. So it says Bitcoin is forming its first big breakdown in a number of days after consolidation in the $19,000 range. The coin currently trades for $18,300, down 3 to 4% in the past 24 hours as the market finally posts a notable red day. Ethereum is down by 6.5%. The drop in price of the top crypto assets came as the US dollar index, or the Dixie, has bounced slightly from the lows seen last week. That's not the reason. The Dixie underwent a strong drop last week that allowed Bitcoin to maintain its high prices while also driving up the stock market. The S&P 500 is actually up today while Bitcoin is down, cementing the sentiment that the two markets have finally begun to seriously diverge. None of that is the actual reason as to why Bitcoin has fallen in price. And it was actually a little weird because it took me a while to figure out exactly what the reason was. This one says Bitcoin plunges $900 in hours. Global market cap loses $35 billion. This one says Bitcoin slides towards 18,000. Altcoins gain bearish momentum. Every single website that I went to had nothing but negative news to say about the price. It was constantly about the bears and the bulls and the rats and the dogs and the donkeys, all fighting over Bitcoin's price and as to where things were going to go, and the dollar's index going up by a slight little tiny bit, and therefore Bitcoin had to plunge several $100,000+ Same exact thing over here. It says bloodbath in cryptocurrency market as Bitcoin overhead pressure surges. Downside eyes. There we go. 17,500 US dollars. And even right here it says technical analysis. Ethereum dives to 550. Why more downsides seem likely? Every single one of these websites didn't mention anything as to what was actually happening. It was just a constant, once again, movement of the animals trying to struggle and see where Bitcoin was going to go. Now here's the actual reason for why Bitcoin dropped in price. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says MtGox users prepare to get back $2.6 billion worth of Bitcoin. I'm sure about a third of you who've been here for a while, your ears just perked up because you're like, oh, that makes a bit more sense. For those of you who do not know any word that I just said in the last couple of seconds, MtGox, which is actually, it stands for Magic the Gathering Online Exchange, was a website around 2008, 9, 10, 11, beginning of 2012 that served as a place for people to be able to trade cards from the card game known as Magic the Gathering, therefore Magic the Gathering Online Exchange. If you put the first letters of those together, you get the word MtGox. What ended up happening was, by around 2011, 2012, the person who owned this website, so the story goes, got into Bitcoin, and people were looking for a way to be able to trade their Bitcoin because Bitcoin started to actually have value. It was no longer worth a cent, 5 cents, 10 cents. It was now worth $1 and $2, and people were talking about how one day it could potentially reach $100, but nobody was sure. That number seemed completely out of range of where it could possibly go. So a number of websites began to pop up. The most popular one that we had at that time was called MtGox. People began to deposit their Bitcoin onto that website. Bitcoin was the only coin at this point. We had no other altcoins. That was before everything started to completely get out of control to where it currently is right now. And what happened was that over the course of time, that website, MtGox, apparently had a bunch of hacks happen. So people figured out that they could go into the mainframe database and start taking out Bitcoin. But the legend goes is that the guy who ran it didn't tell people when these hacks were actually happening. And even more so, as he was just mainly into Magic the Gathering, he had no real sense of security for Bitcoin and what actually had to be done. So all the Bitcoin that were stored on that platform, which I think at the maximum amount at the time was like several million or like over a million or something like that, were apparently hacked in multiple waves because they were all on one computer. One computer, no cold wallet, no storage devices, nothing. It was all on one computer. All of it was stolen. As you might have imagined, a lot of people got a little upset and were like, hey, where's my money? And the guy had no answer for them. You can even see it right here on CNN Business. It says how MtGox went down. It was a very big news story. Part of the news story was that also by the time we got to 2017, the beginning of 2018, a lot of these coins had been recovered. I think in total, 850,000 Bitcoin had been stolen, lost, gone, poofed. But I think 140, 150,000 of those coins were actually saved, and they were put into like a custody account. And the entire idea was that they would figure out who these coins belong to. They had these things. I don't know if this is the tab for it right here. Yeah, the MtGox Trustee was basically this guy who was put in control of all the coins, and his job was to basically have interviews with people or have people send in claims to say, hey, I had Bitcoin on that website. I had 350 Bitcoin on that website. Here's my name. Here's my address. Here's all the information that I could provide to show you that it was actually me who was in possession of these coins. It took this guy years to get all of this stuff together to be able to compile a list of people who actually had reputable claims for these coins. This was pushed back multiple times. It was pushed back in 2017, in 2018, in 2019. And I think even the beginning of this year, we had news that it might also have been potentially pushed back once again. Every single time, not half of the times, not maybe once of the times, every single time that we got news that these coins would potentially get back into the market, our prices dropped. It just so happens to be that we are currently at the time where Bitcoin looks like it was going to pass by 20,000 US dollars, and this happens to have crossed in front of it, and therefore this is why the prices are going back down. Why are the prices going back down, you ask? It's only 140,000 Bitcoin. The idea is, if you were in possession of a cryptocurrency, let's say, I don't know, Bitcoin, back in 2012, 2013, that was only worth, let's say you had 100 Bitcoin that were worth about $5 each at the time. That's $500. If someone told you in the year 2020 that you were going to get your 100 Bitcoin back and they're worth roughly around 18,000, 19,000, 20,000 US dollars, what would you do with that money? Especially after the tumultuous year that we've had, what would you do with a couple $1 million that got thrown onto your lap? You'd probably use it. You'd probably cash out of Bitcoin, throw those coins back into the market. You don't even care. You have suffered for 6-7 years, maybe with a little bit of money that you simply didn't have anymore. Maybe you were struggling, or maybe you were tired of this entire thing going on and you wanted your previous $500 back that's now worth $2-something million. Because a lot of people on MtGox actually held a huge amount of coins because the coins weren't worth a lot back then, so they were buying up huge amounts. Like, imagine if you're buying $1,000 worth of Bitcoin and you were trying to do it back when Bitcoin's $5. Well, that's 200 Bitcoin. Imagine doing that every single month. You kind of get the idea. So the other part of it is that since 2018, a number of companies, corporation, institutional investors, yada, 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 have also known about this event. This is not something that is relatively new to them. If you are a company who is going to be investing $500 million into anything, you take the full broad scope of the entire market and you understand exactly what's going to be taking place, the risks associated with everything that you're going to be doing, and MtGox has always been one of them. The speculation has been, sorry for talking so fast, the speculation has been since 2017, 18, and 19 that a number of institutions who had purchased Bitcoin before were simply going to gobble up these Bitcoins should they try to re-enter the market, and that's probably exactly what's going to happen. There are probably some discussions happening behind closed doors for the people who are going to be getting back their Bitcoin. Hey, do you plan on selling it? Yeah, I might sell half of it. I'm not really sure. But if you do sell it, contact us and we'll give you a very good price for it, market rate, yada, yada, yada. You don't have to worry about anything because in 2016, one of the proposals was, here's the nonsense. One of the proposals is that, yeah, you can get your Bitcoin back, but you'll get it at the previous market rate. And people were like, what? So the idea was that, yeah, you can totally get back your Bitcoin, but you'd get it in local currency. So you'd get back your $500. Hope you're happy with it. That, of course, has been smoothed out, and people are going to get their actual value back from their Bitcoin. It even says it right here. $2 billion lost in MtGox Bitcoin hack can be recovered, lawyer claims. This has been a long running thing. This is the actual guy right here. He looks very different now. He lost a lot of kilos from the stress of it. So as it stands right now, this seems the most logical as to why Bitcoin's price fell. It's because every single time over the last 5 years, whenever we got news that these coins were going to re-enter our market, especially 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, where Bitcoins just didn't have enough liquidity within its market cap, If we got the news that billions of dollars will be flowing back into the market, it would crash Bitcoin's price. So this is just the effects of that currently happening right now. I can read through a little tiny bit of it for you just so you can kind of get the full picture of what's happening today. It says, in 1 week, the MtGox exchange saga may finally conclude. It's been happening for so long. On the 15th of December, an estimated allocation of 137,891 Bitcoin will be distributed to users who lost funds following MtGox shutdown in 2014. The MtGox shutdown is one of the most infamous events in crypto's history. The Japanese exchange abruptly ceased operations in February 2014, announcing that it had lost 850,000 Bitcoin in various attacks. Bitcoin was one of just a few established cryptocurrencies at the time, and MtGox was responsible for handling 70% of transactions. Oh, there are books about this, and it's very, very weird. Like, people were just sending in checks, and people were sending in like money orders to be able to do this, and it was all done by that one guy. Like, apparently, in So Saith the Book, in books that I read about it, this guy was doing everything, and that's why I completely failed, because people realized that he was the entire head of operations. It was just him in an office on a computer getting tons of folders and tons of letters that basically were like, hey, here's a check for 500. And he's like, okay, 500 in Bitcoin sent to this person. Like, it seems absurd now because of the way that the cryptocurrency space is built. But this is how it was back then. And to even think that something as janky as that was 70% of transactions happening on the network. You understand how insane this all is? The event caused several early Bitcoin investors to lose their holdings. It remains central to the crypto community's often repeated, not your keys, not your coins, because everyone's coins were on one computer. And that one computer got hacked, and all the Bitcoin were gone, which advises investors not to store their funds on a centralized exchange. So, as it stands right now, in the next 6-7 days, it appears that this will finally be over. This has been people were terrified, even 2 years ago, that these coins would re-enter the market and we'd collapse in price. You can probably find articles where people were discussing, if the MtGox coins re-enter our market in 2018, Bitcoin's going to fall back to $1,000. Bitcoin's going to fall to 500 because of the sheer fear of these coins re-entering the market. Understand, and this is important to keep in your mind, I don't know if it's any consolation for all of these things that are going on. There are an enormous amount of institutions who are in the cryptocurrency space right now. They know that this is going to happen. They've prepared for this to happen, and they're probably going to be buying up these coins, but we probably won't hear about a huge portion of that news for about a good year or two. Every time that something like this happens, it wasn't Novogratz. Who was the other guy we were talking about a couple days ago? I don't remember this guy's name. It was in the video where I was talking about how much Bitcoin is lost or gone and stuff like that. He purchased, I think, 30,000 Bitcoin and then 2,000 Bitcoin and other Bitcoin at auction. This is exactly how this is going to go. You do not bet billions of dollars into this space to have it completely wiped away by an event like MtGox. So I think a lot of the fear that we see or the prices dropping, I've had a friend or two, message me last night asking me why prices were dropping, and there was no real indication of news until I actually figured this out. There are going to be huge bumps in the road, sometimes even mountains that we're going to have to get over. This is one of them. This is probably like the last really big thing besides, no, this is probably it. The only other real portion after this that we have to worry about is governments realizing that Bitcoin's price is too high, them trying to create their own central bank digital currencies immediately and trying to scare their citizens not to use Bitcoin because central bank digital currencies are going to be better. But yeah, anyway, this is probably the most logical reason as to why Bitcoin is dropping right now. Not really much more that I have to say. If you need more information, Google it. You can find the information for yourself, but I gave you the complete rundown of everything that took place. It's a very interesting story as to how this happened. There were people like sitting outside of the office like for weeks, just holding up signs like, "Where's our money?" And he's walking into the office with some Starbucks. It just doesn't, it was otherworldly. Anyway, that's the MtGox news. That is more than likely the reason why Bitcoin dropped. Bitcoin is probably going to go back up once people realize, hey, we don't have much to be afraid of. If all those coins do re-enter the market, we're going to drop in price. They're going to be repurchased back up. MicroStrategy and what's the other one? Grayscale just told us both within the last 7 days that they are not going to stop buying Bitcoin anytime soon. MicroStrategy is literally going to be putting $400 million extra into the market. And Grayscale is just absolutely insane. And I think their overall goal is to hold 1 million Bitcoin. So without further ado, that's the price drop news. Hope I helped everybody mentally to let you know that everything is going to be fine. And let's move on. Next up, the demand for digital dollars is soaring, and the second largest stablecoin in the crypto ecosystem has just reached a new circulation milestone. And I'll tell you exactly why this is quite fascinating. The Center Consortium's USD coin has just surpassed 3 billion in circulation, growing by nearly 500% in 2020 alone, according to a blog post. The founding members of Consortium are Circle and Coinbase. Keep those in mind. And their USDC stablecoin, usually called the Coinbase dollar or the Circle dollar, is shaping up to rival the industry standard Bitfinex dollar pegged coin known as Tether. It's not that USD coin is rivaling Tether, it's that they want it to rival Tether. The idea and the mantra many years ago within the cryptocurrency space around 2016, 2017 would be that institutional investors would get into the cryptocurrency space, and therefore they would bring about this new utopia of prices and things like that. And many companies, including Coinbase and Circle, made sure that they picked up that idea and basically said, we are going to do everything that we can to make sure that institutions are extremely happy, extremely feel comforted, or whatever they need to do to be able to put money into the cryptocurrency space. And Circle coin, Coinbase coin, was one of these things that was pushed forward as this is what they're going to use. This is what they're going to feel comfortable with because it is regulated, because it falls under the so and yada, 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 KMC, AML, Y, blah, blah, ABZ, blah, blah, blah. The issue is that it's not Circle coin, it's Tether. Tether continues to get all of the attention, and this bothers a lot of the industry leaders, and this is why, once again, keep in mind why Tether during this year and the end of last year put themselves onto like 7 or 8 different other blockchains trying to make sure, because I'm pretty sure behind the scenes they probably have received some very nasty letters and or had a strong talking to by someone else or regulators, whatever the actual case might be. The news basically is we tend to see a massive spike in cryptocurrency prices historically whenever stablecoins get printed. The idea is that behind the scenes, we can't see it, but the people who are creating these stablecoins are getting funding and money from institutions who are telling them, hey, we need more money in this because as we're trading, we need more liquidity as we're cashing out into stablecoins whenever they decide to take profits or whatever the actual thing that they're trying to do. So Tether's not going anywhere anytime soon. Tether's going to be around for a very long time, and it bothers people within the industry because they assumed that the other stablecoins, that this is not the only stablecoin. It was the Gemini dollar and the Coinbase coin that came out around the exact same time that were pushed forward as the coins, as the stable coins of the future. We kept on getting news that every other coin that wasn't regulated would eventually poof into non-existence. And alas, here we are. So the creation of new stable coins, not like as in brand new ones, but I mean like the continual printing of ones that we already have, usually is followed by a massive continual upsurge in cryptocurrency prices as more people enter the market. And then by the time we get to a $45,000, $50,000 Bitcoin price, we're going to get more news that more stable coins are going to be printed and pushed into the market. And this will also cause a discussion as to if our market is a bubble or whatever, whatever the actual case might be. So, yeah, that's the stablecoin news. More Tether is, Tether's not going to stop. Remember the news that we had a couple of months ago that people assumed that Tether would actually become the number 2 or number 3 coin because of how much was being printed. And I was like, that's probably not going to happen. There's no way that the market would let that happen. And then we surged up in price, and Tether is still where it is. There's no way that market makers and market leaders are going to allow a stable coin to become the number 2 or number 3 coin. It's just not going to. Anyway, I feel like my mind is going blank. There's so many things happening right now in the world in so many different facets, and I'm trying to really make sense of it all, if that kind of makes a lot of sense. There's just so much happening. Anyway, I'm going to continue on because it probably doesn't interest you, the inner workings of my mind and where I currently am. I'm not actually sure if we even went over this one. It sounds familiar, but then it doesn't, because we've had news stories like this every single day for the past like 6 weeks now. Billionaire investor Ray Dalio, that name doesn't sound familiar, the chief of the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater Associates, has flipped his stance on Bitcoin and digital currencies. In his recent Ask Me Anything session on Reddit, Dalio said that he thinks Bitcoin has been successful in establishing itself as a successful gold alternative over the last decade. He goes on to add that Bitcoin can serve as a gold diversifier and a storehold of wealth in the future. He said, I think Bitcoin and some other digital currencies have over the last 10 years established themselves as interesting gold-like asset alternatives with similarities and differences to gold and offer limited supply, yada, 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 yada. However, he also states that it is crucial to diversify one's portfolio and that not enough people do that. Dalio's latest comments are a bit contrasting to his own statements a month ago. Back then, he said that he remains a bit critical about Bitcoin and that he thinks that Bitcoin is not a great medium of exchange nor a good store of value. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure if something's in the water, if there's Kool-Aid that people are drinking. What is this thing going on where people 30 days ago hate us? We're garbage, we're awful, we're terrible. I saw some other company, not even relevant. Like they're so not relevant, you don't even know who they are. Mention the whole blockchain, not Bitcoin thing again, and it's like you are stuck in 2013. Anyway, the news being another billionaire has come forward. Once again, doesn't anyone else find it weird that these people hate us 4 weeks ago, and then for some reason they're like, well, it could stand against gold, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense. You were just completely against Bitcoin. You made sure to mention, all of them do, Bitcoin has been around for 12 years and gold has been around for millennia. And we believe in gold and yada, yada, yada. And gold is going to continue. And it's like, what flipped your stance? Tell me what exactly made you go on to Reddit and tell people that Bitcoin is probably going to be better than gold or a good storage replacement? Doesn't it seem odd? It's not just me, right? This is happening every single day. And like it's constantly like news about this as well. Like, and this is a really big flip on his stance from last month where I almost said something that I definitely can't say on video. But you get what I'm saying, right? It's this really weird thing. So this is another guy to add to the list. I'm going to huge assumption here and say that if he has taken a massive U-turn, massive U-turn on Bitcoin and saying that Bitcoin could be a gold alternative, I'm going to assumption that he probably owns Bitcoin as well. Just going to throw that out there. It seems a little weird that you would use your power and richness and influence to tell other people how amazing something is that you don't own. Shrug. Anyway, that's another rich person saying, hey, Bitcoin's amazing. You should be getting into Bitcoin. Every single day, like I just don't get it anymore. Like it's what's with the coordinated pattern? But all right, let's move on. Next up, just 4 days after it launched its ETH2 staking service, customers of Kraken have deposited more than 100,000 Ether, worth around $60 million US. I don't think a lot of people even know that they can start staking their Ethereum. I think everyone knows that Ethereum 2.0 has launched, but I don't hear a lot of staking news, which is funny because we actually have a good chunk of staking news right here. It says the milestone was surpassed on the 8th of December, with the exchange estimating that its staking services represent approximately 8% of all Ether staked for Ethereum 2.0 so far. Kraken estimates that its service will provide an APY, an annual percentage yield, or a return of 5 to 17%. Kraken's vice president of products, Jeremy Welch, stated that the exchange has long been a supporter of Ethereum, noting that Kraken was one of the first exchanges to list Ether in August. That is true. That is actually true. This was when people kept on calling Ether garbage and saying that it wasn't going to go anywhere and it was terrible. Why are you using it? Yada, yada, yada. And then lo and behold, here we are now. So here's the actual information on their website. This is not a paid, what's it called? Paid association, paid partnership. I'm not being paid by them. It's simply me showing you the numbers. It says Kraken is excited to announce that clients can stake their Ether on Kraken to receive rewards between 5 to 17%. That's a huge amount. Even if you were only getting 5% of your Ether or anything at this point, that's still absolutely amazing. The network reward is variable, and 17% is currently the highest possible yearly yield. If I'm not mistaken, the news that we had last year was that they were trying to make it balanced in a way that if you had 1 million Ethereum and you had 10 Ether, that you would be able to roughly not make the same amount of money. That's not it at all, but that you wouldn't be out of the running for making money, so that the people who have the higher number of Ether staked would be making the 5% because they're going to be making a huge amount of money regardless, and that the people who have lower numbers would be making around the 10, 12, 13, 14%. If I remember that correctly, it was meant to have like a sort of balance, because if the people who have 1 million Ether are getting 17% and you're only getting 5%, that doesn't really incentivize anyone to actually stake their coins on the network. Where's the other really important part that I think needs to be said, because a lot of people don't really know this? 5 to 17% based on network rate. Receive rewards every week. Wonderful. You can stake less than 32 Ether. The entire idea for 32 Ether has always been that if you have the 32 Ether, you can have your own corner. You can do whatever you want, but if you have less, you have to join a staking pool, which basically means you have to put it onto a cryptocurrency exchange and have them do it for you. Kind of the same exact thing. Here's one of the very big things that I think a lot of people miss, and I'm going to make sure to discuss it right now. It says clients should be aware that staked Ether cannot be unstaked, and along with staking rewards, cannot be transferred for an unknown period of time. I know a lot of you are clutching your pearls right now, but calm down. It says this means that clients should only stake Ether that they plan to hold for the long term. This limitation is not specific to Kraken. It is a limitation on the Ethereum network itself, and I will explain to you exactly why. Have you ever gone into a bank and they've offered you something called a CD? It is a certificate of deposit, and you'll typically see they'll show you a piece of paper. It says, here are CD rates. Basically says 2-year rate, 1-year rate, 2-year rate, 5-year rate, 10-year rate. It says, if you give us your money, we will put it into this CD for a 5-year period of time. And during that period of time, at the end of the 5 years, you will receive the money that you got from the CD. If you take out money from the CD early, there is a penalty. And the penalty is you lose a portion of your money. So you are therefore incentivized to leave your money in that CD to get the full amount by the end of it. It's very different for the cryptocurrency space. You don't have to wait to the end of the 5 years. You will continuously be paid out from the actual protocol. But remember, when you are staking your coins on any proof of stake platform, you are securing the network. Vitalik Buterin and many other people said this before. People need to understand that when they're staking their coins will be locked in the protocol for an undetermined amount of time. I think eventually it will be smoothed out and you'll have like a 2 to 3, 4 week grace period. The idea being, if prices are fluctuating up and down, they need to make sure that you are not going to be terrified and take all of your coins off of the protocol, causing the security and integrity of Ethereum to completely collapse based off of a little whim of fear. You understand what I'm saying? The idea is that if Ethereum, let's say, is at $10,000, and at some point the market gets really afraid, something's happening, no one knows what's going on, and it falls down to $8,000, people are going to be afraid, but they need to make sure that your fear is not going to collapse the entire Ethereum network, cause other people to take their coins off, and before we know it, Ethereum has been hacked, and Ethereum is then only worth $100 per coin. So keep this in mind when you're doing this. This is not just for Ethereum. This is for every single proof of stake chain. They have a thing, same exact thing with EOS. When you put it inside, it is staked for a certain period of time. We usually get a time frame for exactly how long it's going to be staked for. Staking is not just you making money on the side. It is you securing the network. And your incentive for securing the network by staking your coins is the 5 to 17%. Get it? I hope you understood exactly what I mean. You should have. It was all properly explained. Because I haven't seen people complaining about this yet, but I know for a fact people like to complain, and people are going to start staking their coins. They're going to complain that they can't take their coins off, and then they're going to say something's wrong with Ethereum. I can't get my money off. It's a scam. No, it's because, once again, people never do their own research. People never look for the actual answer themselves. They begin to panic. They start going completely insane and saying that something's wrong with this, as opposed to being like, oh, maybe I should have just opened my damn browser and started reading for myself. So as it stands right now, here's another tab right here, which I'm also quite shocked about. It says over 1.2 million Ether has been deposited on the Beacon chain. I think we're going to start seeing very big numbers very soon. It's nice that we're already getting these numbers because I'm always interested in numbers. I like to see exactly, things that make sense. Like why sometimes I go crazy in videos when a company's like, hey, we have $500 million to throw into Bitcoin and no one else is excited, but I'm over here going completely insane. So yeah, I assume by next summer, we're going to have a huge portion of Ethereum locked into these protocols. Just understand, once again, always do your own research. This can't be stressed enough. To the 5% of you out there who actually have done your own research, thank you. I didn't know exactly how to celebrate for you, so I was like, just clap for them because it does really help. Because I see a lot of questions for things that I've answered before, or something that can simply be Googled, or no one really. Anyway, the point is, 17% is absolutely insane. I'm waiting to get more exact numbers and for other people to start staking on other cryptocurrency exchanges to see who kind of has the best rate, because this is going to be the new form of passive income. And let's move on from that because this is a really weird topic. Here's the other thing that I was telling everyone about a week ago, maybe, or something like that, maybe even less. It says a prominent micro-strategist and former Goldman Sachs hedge fund manager says XRP has piqued his interest. We were talking about Raoul Pal, and I was like, he said something about XRP, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was. He said he recently invested 98% of his liquid assets into Bitcoin and holds a small amount of Ether, is now learning all he can about XRP. He said, I'm warming to XRP, to be honest. I now have a basic understanding. I don't own it. Pal's public exploration of XRP triggered a wide range of responses on crypto Twitter. He says the naysayers are only making him more interested in forming his own opinions. He said, if somebody tells me to not look at Ripple, I will go and look at Ripple because you will not tell me what to do. And I will find out myself what its flaws and what its potential benefits are and assess the probability myself. I may reach exactly the same conclusion as you. I may reach completely different conclusions, which you should all be doing as well. Just because I tell you or show you information that Bitcoin is probably going to be a world reserve currency doesn't mean that you should stop right there. Look around yourself and try to figure out exactly why I'm saying the things that I'm saying. So that was just to touch on that, because I was like, I remember somebody said something about XRP, and it was along that wave of people being like, oh, XRP isn't that bad. So following that time of news where we got no XRP news at all, and everybody's, the floodgates kind of opened to talk about how cool it was in the last couple of weeks. And to finish things off in news that should surprise no one, London Standard Chartered Bank has gathered a group of crypto exchanges for a new digital asset trading platform tailored to the very rich, according to two sources familiar with the plan. Standard Chartered's crypto trading group comprises 5 of the biggest over-the-counter traders and 4 exchanges, and will include an Ethereum-based settlement token, a well-placed source has told CoinDesk. The firms involved in the custody include, I don't have to read all those names, Standard Chartered and the other firms named in the group all declined to comment, of course, because they always do. Like, hey, we found out your secret. Shh, I don't want to say anything. Standard Chartered plus 5 of the biggest traders in the digital asset and 4 exchanges are about to get this new model started. I think the first test trade will be next month, and I say it'll end up involving the 10 biggest exchanges in digital. So another bank has fallen in love with cryptocurrencies. They cannot get enough of us. I don't know exactly what it is. But yeah, another bank, crypto trading, focusing on the very richest people in the planet. This doesn't happen randomly. This happens because behind the scenes, people are telling them, hey, do you have a platform where we can trade crypto? And they go, no, take your money somewhere else. And then they go, wait, maybe we should take their money to our somewhere else. And then they start creating their own platforms, because every single bank is doing this now as well. So anyway, yeah, just keep everything in mind I said during this video. Understand why Bitcoin goes up and down and why Bitcoin is going to go back up. Fear never lasts a long time within the cryptocurrency space. We've had so many countries, so many governments, so many central banks try to scare the living heck out of people from getting into cryptocurrencies, and you see exactly where the market is right now. Same exact thing with MtGox. It's going to be a blip in, wait, 15. I give it by exactly 1 month after the 15th of January. People won't even remember that MtGox even took place. As always, oh, there we go. My phone was like sideways and I was like, I can't read that. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, George Montoya, Wiselink, not TMI, Conan Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maruni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damian Setsuna, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jemmy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle keeps skipping leg day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, ArfMedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crail and Michelle, URL, Bolero Bastos. Oh, I did it. On Crypto with Lionel, Crail and Michelle, URL, Bolero Bastos. I was trying to see if I can get the last 5 without looking at the phone. I think I did it. I don't remember. I have short-term memory. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a new Patreon supporter. I saw a couple of new people. Thank you very, very much. Thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. And thank you to everyone who has left a like. And thank you to everyone in general. Thank you for all being here. I do appreciate the support, as it were. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently at $18,052 US. It's all over the place because, you know, the market, Ethereum's down by 6%, XRP's down by 11%. You get the general trend. Every single coin is down. Ravane is up by a little bit. Sure, why not? Theta is up by 11% because, you know, we all love that Theta and the things that she does. Yeah. That is going to do it for today's video. I do hope that you all enjoyed. So annoying. Jeez Louise. Do hope that you all enjoyed. Do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.